Hi, host Eric here, and I'm. I don't know if I should say this or not. I don't think it's exactly true, but it feels true at the moment. I really am hopeful this is the last video I have to make about this subject. I want to talk about the debate coach's curse. So, metasoap is just relentless as usual, and and she got me on a point, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what the original thing was, but I'm pretty sure she successfully proved me wrong about something. You know, I think I said, oh, I know. I said I don't always beat INTPs, and then she quoted another one of my videos where I said they can't stand my lack of need for evidence, but I don't need it. I win the arguments anyway. It's true. I win the arguments. She doesn't understand the distinction between evidence and arguments. It's weird, or she's intentionally not understanding. I guess probably. Of course, she's still stuck in her same trap, right? She is desperately trying to prove me wrong and succeeded. Apparently, I think so. Yeah, I think you could say she proved me wrong. Um, in the sense that in that video I said I lose to INTPs, but I guess I failed to make a distinction between debaters and laity. And this is what I mean by the debate coach's curse. Metasoap talks a lot about evidence, and she's fixated on it a little bit, as though I don't use evidence or something. When I'm running a regular debate round, when I put together debate cases, they're packed full of evidence. You've seen enough of our debate rounds, you know it, Metasoap. Remember, you don't like that kind of arguing either. Remember, it's too fast or something, or I don't know, not presentational enough or something. So you don't like evidence-based argumentation either, by the way. But regardless of that, of course I use evidence all the time. My conflict with you has always been you ask for evidence for things for which I don't need evidence, if by evidence you mean citations or statistics. Right? You know that thing you lead with TI? Supposed to be logical. We get to use logic, remember? It's okay to use logic. Yeah. So, um, anyway, the debate coach's curse is this. There is, in fact, a look. This is the coach. This is the coach's curse. The debate coach's curse. If I were coaching Himalayan curve hockey, Metasoap would just be like, well, of course you're gonna know more about that than me. You're an expert in that, and I should probably listen to you if I want to know something about curve hockey. But when you're doing debate, everybody thinks they're an expert. I've had so many teachers over the years tell me, "Oh, you're a debate coach? Oh, I do debate in my class too." No, you don't. There's a debate. The thing that you're doing, it's called um, exchanging exclusive opinions. Like, you know, we should do this because it's good for kids. No, we should do that because it's bad for something. It's just like the stupidest thing in the world, you know? And it's certainly not debate. Just because your kids aren't agreeing with each other doesn't make it a debate. It just makes it a sloppy mess that happens when people have no rhetorical training whatsoever. So, so we've evolved into arguing about arguing, right? The problem you have is you made this point that you believe in evidence, but you don't believe in evidence about argumentation. I could get you cards and stuff if you want me to get cards for theory arguments. I got case layer. I got 800 pages of that shit. You want me to pull some cards for you? Is that really going to help you be convinced? You have no idea. Do you know what my Dropbox looks like? Jesus Christ, woman, you think I'm afraid of evidence? I'm a debate coach. Look, I have expertise in this field that vastly surpasses your own. Not because I'm better or smarter or God or omniscient or any of those other things you say, but because that's my area of expertise. Whether you want to believe it or not, I'm among the best debate coaches in the country. And you want to argue with me about how argumentation works. You came into a debate practice, GTM, one time, and you said, geez, I can see why you guys get so mad when people don't argue like you want them to. That's how you put it, you know. In other words, when people argue wrong, when people argue sloppy, when people don't argue, they just it's like anyway. When people argue like I don't want them to, why I get so mad because this this takes a lot of work. Or I don't remember the exact wording. This takes a lot of work, or something like that. You guys working hard. You guys have to work really hard on this. Or something. I don't know. Whatever it was you said. Something along those lines. I mean, you you see where I'm going, man. You go into the debate practice. It's too hard for you. You get bored because it's too much evidence and too hard for you. And you leave and complain about how labor intensive it is to argue right. And then come back to the comments and accuse me of not being able to argue correctly because we're not in a formal debate round. And I do that for my job. Right? I don't want to prep out debate cases on my YouTube channel. I like to discuss the argumentation. I like to discuss the arguments. If you're willing to listen with an open mind, you could learn quite a bit from me. Because once again, I actually am an expert in rhetoric and argumentation. And you've never actually studied it, or most importantly, you've never learned to use it properly in a formally judged competition schema. That's what you need to develop real debate skills. You have to either compete as a coach or a competitor. Then you get debate skills. Then you actually know what you're doing a little bit. You can pick it up quick if you're smart, like Zach. He'll pick all that shit up quick. It's not that hard, really. It's a lot of information over time. You pick it all up pretty quickly. And PF is pretty straightforward. So to coach policy requires you to know a lot. To coach PF requires you to know a decent amount. I mean, look, the reality is this. I don't like it when shit gets personal like this, you know? I'm making a bunch of... I'm battling with you. I could keep on battling with you. It's not supposed to get personal. It's something that the debater knows about. The debater or the debate coach knows about battling over ideas. When the round's over, you put it to bed. We're done. If I hit a little too hard in sparring, my bad. You know, you were a game adversary. Always game. Plenty of fight in you. But let's leave it in the round. And I might take away from a round a grudge or an anger against a judge that I think screwed us. Screwed my kids. I might. I have. I still have a grudge against somebody from Dallas 5 years ago. I haven't ever seen him again. If I ever do, I'm gonna fucking tear him a new one. My kids don't leave those rounds with grudges against their opponents. Maybe the judges, they feel like they got screwed. When my kids get beat by an argument, they say, "What can I learn from this?" So let's look at what you said. You pointed out that in my video, I basically said I beat them all the time, and then in this other video, I said they beat me all the time. The fact is I was talking about different populations of INTP, but I didn't clarify that. It's a direct contradiction. You got me. I think it's true that INTPs beat me all the time with their debate coaches. I guess the one I was referring to was just really Kemble. So, but she was a state champion. She was a state champion in state of California. And in policy debate. So that's fine. But I had other coaches beat me too. My assistant coaches usually beat me. And we actually judge those rounds. My classes judge them. Right? My kids, and they beat me because they're better debaters. Can the laity actually defeat me in any kind of a debate? No, of course not. But we're not doing debate here. We're actually trying to be real. I'm trying to be real anyway. I'm trying to be real about the arguments. You keep thinking this is about my ego. Man, I've won enough debates, okay? I've hoisted enough fucking trophies. I don't need to win debates here because of ego glory. But I'm disappointed that there's so much bile, right? You're spewing bile all over the place here. And the round never ends. So I think step one is maybe, if you have any interest in resolving, I'm sure you don't. If you want to keep attacking, go for it. If you expect me to ever ban you or something, you're crazy. No way in hell would I ever ban anybody for expressing their opinion like you are. You're not making threats of violence. You can say whatever the fuck you want. It's interesting, but I don't think it's wise. And I think you need to sort of think to yourself, oh yeah, he actually does, in this area of his specialization, know a lot more than I do. Smart people think, well, I can argue too. I'm just as good as it. I know just as much. They can, with a little training, that's absolutely true. I don't expect Zach to take very long before Zach can beat me. But it depends on what are we testing in this hypothetical too. It's like, are we actually running a straight up round? The truest test would be this. In this truest test, I think I could beat almost anybody. The truest test being this. Both parties being somehow incentivized or just naturally motivated to work hard on it. Each party prepare their case, prepare for the round in private, give it a certain amount of time to do so, and then go into the round. If given time to prepare a case that I'm running myself, I'm going to be able to run it perfectly, and that neither side gets any opportunity to scrimmage it ahead of time or practice it or stuff like that. But he just gets to prep it. I mean, my case strategies, it took me a long time to come to believe this. I'm not saying this out of arrogance. My case strategy is better. I see a lot of debate cases. I hear a lot of debate cases. Even among debate coaches, I understand argumentation better. And you, who, I mean, simply put, you don't have a good grasp of it at all, okay? I mean, I'm not trying to throw anything at you. I'm just saying that's as factual as the fact you gave me here. And you're able to use certain parts of it, right? You're able to say, I found a contrary example. I'm going to put that out there, prove him wrong. You may even know, in a sense, I mean, you were obviously able to describe it as, I'm sure, a contrary example, but you probably didn't think about it because you're not used to thinking about the arguments you make in terms of what vector they are. When you present an argument, you're not evaluating it on 5 or 6 different levels, how it works. You're evaluating it on one, maybe. There's no reason to be angry at this reality. Remember, are you angry at the pilot because he can fly the plane better than you? Are you angry at the dentist because he can drill the teeth better than you? Look, it's a whole different ball of yarn, argumentation, when you're serious about it. You're accustomed to internet arguing. It's depressing. Try to think about what I'm saying. Here's the problem you face. You can't end this thing with alpha intact, right? If you're still harboring illusions. I'm not trying to take it from you, but I can't. That's because I don't like that at all, right? It's if it's got to be, then you know. But I'd rather it not be at all. It's gonna be certainly not gonna be you. So I think that's where it's gonna take some humility here, right? To solve if you want solvency. If you like the status quo and persist in it, that's fine. Or if you just sort of get frustrated and disappear, I'll actually be sad to see you go. I would prefer us to be at peace. You feel as though your feelings have been hurt very badly, and you're completely incapable of even apparently looking at it from a perspective. Because if you did, you'd see, number one, my feelings aren't hurt. You've said many more attemptedly hurtful things to me than I to you, yet my feelings are not hurt. Now, I'm going to have to retract that. Maybe we'll call us even or something. Because I made some chow videos, for sure. I said you were embarrassing yourself. I regret saying that. I really do. That's the one thing I regret saying in any of these videos. It was in reference to one comment, and I can't honestly retract the content of that comment, but I nevertheless retract the content of my words regarding that one comment. Nevertheless, I wish I hadn't said those words, because they were probably interpreted to mean more generally. I said them in a way that lent them to be interpreted to be more generally. So that's my bad. I wish I hadn't said that. I'm sorry for saying that. But yeah, man, you can't fight your way out of this. Not this one. You can learn your way out of it, but you can't have this war. You can have any battles you want, because they all lose you the war, right? So we're clear. If it matters when you catch me like that, and obviously it matters to you, and it should, it's right and good and true to hold people accountable like that. Don't try to throw the battle back in the lake. Take it. You're going to lose the war no matter what. You can't. So just might as well take this one. There. Do you feel how right and good and true it is? And just? You're right. I said in one video, I always be the IHP. In another video, I say I always lose the IHP. I'm totally contradicting myself. And that matters. A lot. More than anything else. That's your point when you say you demand evidence. I presented you evidence, Eric, so you should believe me. What you presented me was a great argument. And in that argument, you utilized an example. That was great. You don't understand what evidence is. And you don't understand how to support arguments in certain contexts. And you don't understand what they're supposed to do. And you don't understand how people can respond to them different ways. And you don't understand what that does to the impact calculus of the debate. And you don't understand the three terrains, the meta framework, the framework, and the contention level. Perhaps you've got some kind of vaguish, understanding of it, I guess. But you've never actually had to execute it under pressure. So you don't really know anything about it. You couldn't do it for sure. So, metasoap, at this point, I'm just sort of entreating you, person to person. Give it up, dude. Why do you want to duel with the fastest fucking gun in the West? Compared to you, I'm the fastest gun in the West. Even if there's 50,000 people out there beat me in a row. You have zero training. And I hate making these kind of statements, but I get forced to when people like you and my INFJ friend want to attack me for some reason. There's no other way to say it, metasoap. You don't know anything about what you're fighting me over. You're fighting a debate coach about debate on his YouTube channel, limiting yourself to only text, relying upon us to read your chats and the go to meetings because for whatever reason you just won't show your face or have your voice recorded. And the disadvantage that you're at here is this kamikaze mission. It's not me. It'll be the same thing as me going to the religious studies channel. Something very equivalent, right? The analogy is strong here. Okay? And there is a difference, by the way, between different kinds of analogies and different strengths of analogies. Anyway, the analogy here is a strong one. You go to the religious studies channel, and I talk about this shit all the time, religion, and I know a lot of piecemeal facts about it, right? But that's not the same thing as having studied a whole series of religious texts deeply and being able to rattle off what happens in verse 7, blah, 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 blah. It's not even the same dimension. I would look like an idiot if I tried to get into a argument about the intricacies of these various religions I only know broad, sort of vague feeling things about. It's a good analogy. Do you see the problem? I hope so. I'm done talking about this shit. I didn't even read those last set of comments. I responded to the first set of them. But it's time for you to just sort of step it up and go, okay, fine. It's been difficult. I've been having a hard time. I'm really mad at Hosturk. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him so much because he always thinks he's right and he's always yelling and he's just so smug. There are certain people who hate me. They're usually not INTPs, and their answer is often the same. It's something along the lines of, "You're always right," and they don't even say, "You think you're always right." They say, "You're always right," like I'm doing something wrong. They don't like what they mean is, when I'm wrong, you don't coddle me enough. That's what they mean. Well, babies, get the fuck over it.